Ladies and gentlemen, the following podcast is scheduled for one fall. Introducing your hosts, Kids at Hart.
What is up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome back. Episode 9 of Wrestle Reel, your favorite unconventional wrestling podcast. I am Nick Do Not Hinder Jinder Mahal. Next to me, even though I don't believe that this is true at all, the American Armpit, Chris Anthony Lopez. A lie. There's no such thing.
What is going on, my boy Nick Mahal? It's been a long week. I am wearing my American Nightmare shirt, hence the inspiration for my for this thing on top of my Spider-Man freaking sweater. But we're not here to talk about Spider-Man. That could be done later. But no, we're here talking about some wrestling, baby. It's been a long week though. Really long week. Tiring.
Yeah,
as I eat my pomegranates.
I will say that I am wearing a friend of the show of Really Scared, Vile, Dr. Scott Brocious and all of them over there, their movie, their t-shirt today. I would have gone wrestling, but I don't know. I was feeling this t-shirt today.
You go crazy, bro. You can do whatever you want.
I'm back over here in the regular spot. Last week I was in my bed because I was too lazy to move. But I cleaned my room recently. It's gotten crazy. The Nick Mulbach random wrestling thing that I watched thing of the week, I have to say. Hit me. I watched a lot. Well, Chris knows about a lot of these because I was texting him as I was watching a lot of these.
Oh God,
things.
yeah.
First of all, dude, I watched a lot of WWE CW, which, listen, man, those are some bite-sized shows, and they never took that show seriously at all, ever. There's I was watching it around the time that Matt Hardy was the champion. Which was a great time to be a wrestling fan. But you know, it's so funny because you watch something like that and then you go, "Oh wow, they're finally giving Matt Hardy his due," and no, they're not. No. I'm gonna go out and say it. I'm gonna go out and say it. This is gonna be a controversial opinion.
Is it high spot? You're a premature high spot?
This is a premature high spot. I'm not gonna play the thing. This is a premature high spot, but we're talking about WWE CW at the time.
I do have a good high spot for this week. Well, it's not really,
which is why I'm saving it for you, my friend, this week.
I appreciate it.
The ECW championship towards its end was one of my favorite championships of all time.
Oh, man.
I know that's probably a controversial opinion, and that people probably think that it's ugly as sin, but I love the thing. I love the final champions being Matt Hardy, Christian, Jack Swagger, Ezekiel Jackson. But
Big Zeke.
I love Big Zeke. Don't get me wrong. I watched Big Zeke win his first singles and only singles title, I think, at Capital Punishment. But we talked about that last week.
Yeah, we did.
So, but a lot of WWE CW. I watched Finlay face against Matt Hardy for the ECW Championship.
Oh, wow.
I watched Finlay beat Mark Henry for the number one contendership. I watched Miz and Morrison trash on their Survivor Series partners because they were on Raw, but they were also on ECW. It didn't really make any sense to me.
They needed them, bro.
Yeah, ECW needed a lot. I watched a very long and dragged out feud that had Jack Swagger and Tommy Dreamer going after each other. That's very long. And last but not least, I saw DJ Gabriel wrestle, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. But yeah, so that was Nick's network pick of the week. We have to do some ECW. I remember I was sleeping over my grandmother's house with my cousin, and we stayed up to watch ECW on Sci-Fi. I'm like, I don't really remember anything about it other than the fact that Ricky Ortiz was on it. But what's crazy about ECW was that, first of all, it was the first thing that got brought to Sci-Fi for WWE.
Yeah, before
at the same time, if I remember correctly, and your times obviously are going to be different than mine when it comes down to it, but for us, ECW was on at 10 o'clock at night. They did not give a shit about this show at all. And I wish that they did, because you could see what they're doing with NXT right now. And it was clearly supposed to be NXT, a developmental stage for, and maybe some wrestlers that you think could be something, and you're trying them out in front of a bigger crowd. Kingston. Kofi, Sheamus, but what I mean is, like, they're giving Matt Hardy the championship. They're giving Christian the world championship run before he wins his world title. But you're never going to see an ECW invasion for Survivor Series or anything like that.
Hell no.
So but beyond that, I kind of wanted to start this episode off on a high spot, no pun intended, because what we're about to talk about is just really annoying and sad and blah.
So we pre-record this show every week, for those who don't know, because Nick and I are pretty busy guys. That's right. After we got done wrapping the show, and Nick did his little quick edits for the show, we saw on Twitter, of all places, that WWE was wishing Zelina Vega her best on her future endeavors. And we're like, what? Where the fudge did this come from? On what earth? Where did she goof up? So then the wrestling space on Twitter, and I went even on Reddit and did a little bit of digging. People were losing their minds over this news. And ultimately, what it boiled down to was WWE's changes to those third-party money makers that the superstars are doing. So the cameos, the Twitch is the big one. OnlyFans in Zelina's case, or these other money makers that these wrestlers are doing on the side, right? Mm-hmm. That's where this all boiled down to. Because for those who don't know, last month in October, WWE made it a big deal for all superstars to hand over the Twitch accounts to WWE, and they will receive a portion of the money they make. But it only applied to main roster talents. So Adam Cole, Chugs, you're good, bro. But everybody else and on the main roster got screwed over. And Zelina wasn't the biggest fan of that, because apparently she makes the big bucks on Twitch. Like, reportedly, I'm talking like thousands of dollars, which is insane. But they let her go. And the first thing she tweets that coincided with this whole news is, I believe, I'm paraphrasing, but I stand by unionization.
Yeah, it was I support unionization or something like that.
That.
Yeah, jeez.
And Nick, we spoke about it, but we didn't talk about it. We spoke of it in passing one day, maybe. But I'm curious on your 2 cents. Zelina was a pretty big part of the weekly shows for a while, and she had gotten drafted to SmackDown, and we were going to see the future of her. We saw her on TV a couple weeks ago, and now this happens. So please enlighten me. What did you think of this whole thing?
This whole thing gets really political. That's the weird part about it.
Yeah.
Is, Vince McMahon has given us there's so much controversy around Vincent Kennedy McMahon overall, right? And that is where I think that this just comes into play. I love WWE. I'm not going to stop watching WWE over this, because if it's that big of an issue, if it's overall that big of an issue, if the wrestlers went against the grain and like protested this or something like that, I'm sure that eventually they get what they want. But Vince McMahon has got to stop calling his wrestlers independent contractors if he's going to do shit like this.
Yeah.
It's I'm not going to act like John Oliver didn't cover this. I'm not going to act like Jesse Ventura. Oh, for sure. I'm not going to act like Jesse Ventura, who, God, if I don't agree with everything that he says, because I don't, didn't cover this on the Howard Stern show pretty damn well. I'm not going to lie. These wrestlers these wrestlers made Vince McMahon a billionaire.
Yeah. In their most profitable year in a decade, in 2 decades.
Right. And he's continuing to use them for his own gain. I just don't like it. I don't like the idea that something that can be viewed as, it's just like we have, it's just like, athletes play Twitch.
Yeah.
They don't have to give their portion of the money to the MLB. They don't get owned by the MLB. Up, down, down is enough. It's I'm going to be honest with you, right? The big thing is that there's a part of it that I go, wrestlers can. The only thing that I will think about, because I'm on the wrestler side here, is that this is an opportunity for a wrestler to unintentionally throw off the entire storyline plans and stuff like that. Now, I mean that because Zelina used it to her advantage once, where she was playing on Twitch, and somebody, I think it was, oh God, who was it? I think Bianca Belair came into her room or something like that and attacked her. There was a wrestler that came into her room and attacked her while she was on Twitch stream. And they used that to their advantage. But I'm talking more of the Zack Ryders of the world who used their internet show in order to become incredibly over without the usage of a storyline by the WWE, to the point that they needed to force the WWE to basically give them something because of the recognition that they were getting from that YouTube video. That is where I could maybe see Vince going, hey, what you're doing right here is potentially going to hinder our storylines and stuff like that. But it's not that. They ran with Zack Ryder until they pushed him off of a fucking stage. Pardon my French. But like,
that's your one.
No, yeah, okay. I said shit earlier too. But
we let those slide.
Okay. There's such thing as wrestlers digging their own grave, but this is just not something that they should be digging their own grave on. And I'm talking like, our boy over here, Sim Snuka, accidentally not catching the Undertaker. Like, you never saw Sim Snuka after that. But I'm just saying, like, I think it's unbelievable that this could happen. What choice do they have, I guess, at this point? There is something to wrestling in the WWE. Your mic is making a lot of noise, just an FYI. Yeah, because you're moving it around.
Guilty.
No, you're good. I just want to let you know. Audio listeners. It's just like I don't know. I don't need to keep ranting on this. I'm sorry. It's just like I don't know what to do when it comes down to these wrestlers and what it is that they're trying to do here. Because, they should be able to make whatever they want off of Twitch, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because Vince is profiting off of them so much already. It's the whole college. This is basically falling into our college athletes, considered adults type, or independent contractor type things, standpoint on thing. Except the problem with that is these are legit adults. I mean, like AJ Styles plays on Twitch all the time. Dude's in his 40s. Like these are adult people who can. And you know what? Good for Zelina Vega if that's where she needs to make her money on Twitch. OnlyFans, if that's the route that she needs to go. What I wonder overall for this, and I'll leave it at this, is should we expect Aleister Black to be let go as well?
Before I get to that, I do have a fun little tidbit that at least came out on the dirt sheets throughout the last couple of days. But in regards to Zelina Vega, she was 1,000% the scapegoat. 1,000%. No doubt about it in my mind. She was not only a figure, that was making her money on Twitch. She was a contributor to Up, Up, Down, Down. You mentioned the channel not too long ago. Up, Up, Down, Down is a WWE product. That's WWE. Has her name all over it. There's superstars all over it. Of course, they want their hands on it. Xavier is just, the creator behind it. Mm-hmm. But I believe it is through WWE. Hence why guys like Xavier Woods aren't going to say anything publicly. At least anything too condescending in public. You would never see Xavier acknowledge the unionization things on Twitter, on social media, right? Just let those things fly by because you could potentially lose up, down, down. And that's not something you want to do.
No.
But this whole Zelina Vega thing, like you said, it's political, right? It's extremely political. One of the heads of SAG got their hands on this. I forget her name, but I believe is one of the heads over there at SAG, the Screen Actors Guild, for those who don't know. And they're like, yeah, that's messed up. What WWE's doing is messed up. Andrew Yang, former presidential candidate, he's come on and said, yo, Vince, I'm gonna get your ass. And everyone's like, like, oh, geez, we're getting political now over here in the world of wrestling. But it's a matter of time. I honestly think this might have been the straw that broke the camel's back, especially Zelina getting let go. Something will change at some point in the future. It won't happen in the next half year.
No. Maybe
even in the next year. We may be talking about 2021's Survivor Series by the time something just gets off the ground, you know? But I firmly believe that Zelina was not only the scapegoat, but there might be some people that follow her, or at least that will catch some shit as well. Because WWE's not dumb. They're not stupid. They may act like they're stupid sometimes, but they're not dumb. They're a $1 billion corporation. What the frick, you know? So Zelina, I felt bad for her at first. I'm like, yo, that's unfair, but let's be real. She's going to continue streaming. She got that. She has that 90-day grace period that she has to do. Right. So come February, she'll pop up on Impact. She was at Impact for a hot second. She'll pop up at AEW at some point, or Ring of Honor, or New Japan, or wherever the hell she wants to go. She's a talented wrestler, and she's a great promo, an incredible promo. No one can take that away from her. You can talk all your shit about, she's not the best wrestler, Chris, but she's a great promo. She's an incredible promo.
She played AJ Lee in a damn movie. She's got to be one of the best wrestlers.
You're damn right. But that's something that you have to consider. People are already talking about her going to AEW and being a manager for Hikaru Shida, someone whose English isn't perfect and that needs a mouthpiece, or any of the Joshi wrestlers that pop up on All Elite Wrestling that need a mouthpiece. They got Vicky Guerrero, but they gave her to Nyla Rose, which I get it. But at the same time, Vicky could have helped so many other wrestlers that can't cut those perfect promos or can't cut great English promos, you know? So there are ways around it. And granted, Chris, Asuka does great. Her English isn't the best. Io Shirai does great. Yeah, great examples, right? Great examples. But some people aren't Asuka. They're not Io Shirai. They're not Kairi Sane when she was on Raw every week. No, like, some people need more help. Zelina would be the perfect person to do that in AEW, hypothetically. But she's going to be fine. She's going to be perfectly fine. The bigger problem is the fact that they let her go and why they let her go.
Right.
That's the biggest problem. And I read this thing about how some of the bigger streaming superstars like Xavier Woods and AJ Styles went and met with Vince to try to change his mind on the whole streaming thing. Because I believe it was a couple weeks ago that the deadline ended, right? So you have to hand over your Twitch. Cesaro's not streaming anymore. And and I believe Drew Gulak had to stop. I haven't seen Tyler Breeze. Or I might have seen Tyler, but like Xavier Woods. Like if you see these main roster talents streaming, then they met a deal with WWE or they conceded, you know?
Right.
But it's gonna be a problem that's gonna bite WWE in the ass, especially if these other companies, hence like an AEW, are like, hey guys, you want to come wrestle for us? Yeah, we're beating NXT every week in the ratings and in the viewership, and we let y'all stream. Y'all can do whatever the hell y'all want. How about that? Follow me on Twitch, subscribe to my Twitch channel. You know what I mean? So
right. Or else we're going to be seeing what is Black Alistair and Zelina Vegas doing in the Impact Zone?
Yeah, what's Tommy End and Thea Trinidad doing in the Dynamite Zone, brother?
Oh, right, Tommy End. I don't know, not Black Alistair.
No, I like Black Alistair more. Like it's like a Black Alistair Black. Like, But the fact that they let Zelina go sucks. It really does suck. But she's gonna be perfectly fine. She's gonna do great. But after that grace period, and she goes and wrestles or does promos for somebody else, which I believe is inevitable. She's not done wrestling. She's not. It just sucks that they let her go. It's that serious. She's the scapegoat. Unionization may be inevitable, and that'll shake the whole damn wrestling business, brother.
Oh,
the whole wrestling business.
You know it. But that said, we could lighten things up with, in my opinion, at least in my perspective on it, what will be one of the most ridiculous segments we've ever done here on Wrestle Reel.
You have it in your name, Nick. Don't hinder Jinder. And you had texted me. So for those who don't know, we're about to book, as it says on the bottom, we're going to book a lower card wrestler like Jinder Mahal to inevitably win the WWE Championship. And Nick had texted me a few days ago now, at least as of this recording, and he just hit me with it one day. He just dropped that bomb on me. He's like, hey, Chris, I want to book a wrestler like Jinder Mahal, and I want to book this person. And I'm like, he's like, can we do it on Wrestle Reel? I said, yeah, totally. It sounds fun. I tried for days to think of a good one. I think I do have a good one.
Okay.
But I don't know about lower card. I'm going to try to get as low in the card as I possibly can. I'm trying to get ridiculous. I'm trying to get dumb because the one you gave me threw me for a loop, and I can't get the name out of my head. Like I really cannot get this person's name out of my head. But Nick, by all means, who are we not hindering this week?
Oh boy. All right. Mine's gonna be quick because just like Jinder Mahal's championship reign, it just kind of came out of nowhere. Yeah. Out of nowhere. And if you think that out of nowhere, I'm not talking about Randy Orton, surprisingly. All right, so I'm going to set it up. It's going to be a fatal four-way match, right? For the number one contendership, for the universal title. I'm not talking WWE Championship. I'm talking Universal Championship.
SmackDown.
This is all about family here, my friend. So we're going to take some of our favorite SmackDown wrestlers. We're going to take Daniel Bryan. Give him his one last shot. You know, I mean, this could be his last run.
Last full-time run.
We're going to take wrestlers like Kevin Owens.
KO. Yep, KO. Great.
KO.
Great.
We're going to take wrestlers like who else? Who else do we got here? I'm drawing a blank on who's even a SmackDown wrestler.
Like Cesaro, maybe.
We're gonna take. You know what? Cesaro has been so underrated, and then we're gonna throw Tucker into this match. We're gonna throw Tucker into this match, and we're going to. You know, this match is going to be really, really close for the other wrestlers, and then out of nowhere, Tucker's going to come in and he's going to pin Cesaro to add insult to injury, become the new number one contender for the Universal title. So next week we're going to say that Jimmy is back at this point. We got the family, we got the Samoan family in the ring.
Yep.
We got Paul Heyman. We got Jimmy and Jey Uso. We have. He knows where this is going. That's why he's going, oh God. We have Roman Reigns, and they're staring at our new number one contender, Tucker. He's saying, Tucker is giving this great promo about Roman Reigns, about how he has his family. And then Tucker goes, well, I have my family too. And then out of nowhere, the Godwins come back because Tucker is a Godwin brother now. And Tucker
the goddamn Godwins
wins the Universal Championship with the help of the Godwins because he looks like a Godwin brother. He dresses like one too. It's the perfect scenario. Let's make Tucker the Universal Champion by making him a Godwin. I'm sorry. I broke Chris Anthony Lopez.
Now when? So...
And what we have to do, we have to book Tucker with a ridiculous, or we have to give him a shtick at the beginning. And I don't know what the shtick is quite yet. With Jinder, it was not being racist, and then it became being racist. So I'm just trying to figure out like what Tucker's shtick could be, because I mean it's the Godwins. It could be being racist. They're not. I'm not trying to accuse.
It's not through racism.
No, I'm kidding. Because Jinder Mahal's reign got really freaking weird. That's the only point that I'm trying to make with that. Is that like, you know, Jinder Mahal's reign was like, oh, you do not accept diversity, and then out of nowhere he was like, haha, Nakamura's Asian. So that's why I do not want to bring it to that point. I just don't know what Tucker's thing would be. To say that he is, maybe he's all about family, and then out of nowhere he's like, I don't need the Godwins anymore.
He turns on the Godwins.
I don't need the naked Midian anymore. I don't know.
He turns on the Godwins, the family that helped him win the Universal the Blue Universal.
I'm telling you, this is the most ridiculous segment in the entire world. We're booking people like Jinder Mahal here. We're taking the most ridiculous wrestler in the world, and then main event at WrestleMania. WrestleMania.
Last match proper.
And we're actually going to give the Royal Rumble what it deserves. Because in this situation, it's a big moment. Can't wait for the Heavy Machinery Civil War as Tucker faces Otis for the WWE Universal Championship in the main event at WrestleMania.
Okay. We really took this in two entirely different directions.
Oh, I told you mine was ridiculous. And if yours isn't, if yours isn't, you're saving the segment right now.
I was trying to be as practical as possible. Okay.
Do you think that they were being practical when they were booking Jinder Mahal?
I mean, at first,
I know that they were going through India. And they wanted him to
be. It was fine. How he got there, shocking, but fine. But once he was champion, it just went downhill.
Yes, like I said, diversity.
Yes. And then they made fun of Asian people, even though India's in Asia. Either way,
it just not make any sense to you at all. It's like exactly what happened with Muhammad Hassan. All right.
Oh yeah,
you take an Italian, you take a Canadian, and you just book them the worst. You take Muhammad Assad and you take Jinder Mahal, and you just book them to be the worst thing in the world. It's terrible. But yeah, that's why. Why do you think that? Oh gosh, I called on this segment. Please blow my mind here.
Oh man, I can't not back. I'm trying to change my answer.
No.
Okay. So Mustafa Ali has been through a whirlwind of a gimmick the last couple months, right? Ever since he got outed as the leader of Retribution, which, by the way, quick shout out to Retribution. You beat Team Raw. The team is going to Survivor Series.
Yes.
Where are our boys at? Where are they at? And they're damn right. You're damn right.
Yes.
Look at them boys.
Yes.
Minus freaking Mercedes Martinez. Can't even say her name anymore.
You know what they need? They need Tucker. Throw Tucker into. Sorry.
Throw Tucky into Retribution. Damn close. Yeah. Fuck it.
Tucker Godwin.
That's my one.
Retribution. Sorry.
No, Mustafa Ali has been leading Retribution the last few months, right? And it's been the weirdest thing on the planet. The absolute weirdest thing ever. It's still weird to me. They beat the Survivor Series team going into Raw, which buried the shit out of them going into Survivor Series this weekend. Oh God. So they put their sights on the Hurt Business to start.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Hurt Business, over AF. Now they're facing the New Day because you move on to bigger and better things. And the Hurt Business and Retribution stay where they were at. But the real target of my little pitch to you is Ricochet. They started.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about Mustafa Ali this whole time.
Oh hell no! I had to work my way to Ricochet.
I love it. All right,
because Ricochet. What the? Okay, this is my second one. What the fuck? What the fuck? That's my 3. Come on! Ever since he got called up with Aleister Black a few years ago, He's been squandered on the main roster, which I will never understand. I will never get it. Ricochet has all the ability, even more so. I don't want to get outrageous here, not outlandish, but my man, I will go as far as saying what the hell I'm going to say will almost damn near mimic Rey Mysterio's run in 2006. That's how they got to book Ricochet at this point. When he first showed up, nope, he didn't have to do any of that shit because he was just like everybody else on the main roster. But you treat him now like he could do the flips. He can do the flips and he loves his friends. No, who cares? No one cares about friends in wrestling. No one gives a shit about friends. That's right.
What are you talking about? Heavy Machinery broke up. I gotta stop you, Tucker. Go on.
Freaking Heavy Machinery split and Tucker's cost Otis the damn briefcase. WTF. Sasha and Bailey. They're gonna break up Kip Sabian and Miro on AEW at some point. Like, no one stays friends in wrestling. No one. They're going to break up Miz and Morrison again at some point. You know it's happening, right? You know it's going to happen because no one stays friends.
Sorry. I think we both need to do that just for Miz and Morrison. Turn our heads into the sky like this. Sorry, I've been watching too much ECW. Go on.
No. But God bless freaking no one stays friends. So Ricochet's gimmick now is like, you used to be my friend, Mustafa. Why you gotta lead Retribution? Like, no. And now it's like, am I gonna join Retribution? In my perfect world, he does not. No. First of all, my perfect world, Retribution doesn't exist. Dominic Dijakovic stays his ass in NXT. Shane Thorne stays his ass in NXT. Mia Yim called up. She can stay here. She's cool. But keep her Mia Yim, assholes. Dio Madden, again. Once Retribution does break up them, Dio Madden's gonna have one hell of a run. I'm gonna call that right now. Because he's the shining star of Retribution in my opinion.
I do like some Dio Madden, I'm not gonna lie.
We love Mace over here at Wrestle Real. But Ricochet needs to win the Royal Rumble this upcoming January. For my thing to work, he needs to win the Rumble. And it's the only thing that makes sense. Because he's not gonna beat who the hell is he? He has to work his way up the main event card on Raw right now, which is almost impossible.
Yeah,
it's cluttered AF, bro. After Survivor Series, AJ's gonna be in that hoe. Sheamus gonna be in that hoe. You already got Drew McIntyre, who won the goddamn belt back.
Oh my god, how did we not bring that up?
I'll get to that. That's my high spot for the week. Spoiler alert. I'll get to that. So yeah, you got Sheamus, AJ. Drew McIntyre, who's currently your champion, Randy Orton, The Miz, John Morrison, The Fiend, and just name a few. Keith Lee, Braun Strowman's another one, that higher mid card, even damn near main event talent.
Damn.
So many goddamn people.
Bobby Lashley
would have to go through. Bobby Lashley, even though he's US champ, he will inevitably drop it at some point, and he'll be in the main event picture at some point. Even recently, Shelton Benjamin's been putting on one hell of a show, even though I think him and Cedric are going to have a great tag run at some point. They will beat the New Day. Inevitable. It's inevitable. But Ricochet has a lot to work through to get past. He has a lot of big sweaty men, and we know Vince loves a big sweaty man, brother. So we can't have him do that. He has to win the Rumble. Ricochet, he won't come out. He won't be like 30. That's the easy way of doing it. Have this motherfucker, have this guy be number 1 or number 2. Have him legitimately. We're copy pasting the Rey Mysterio run, minus people having to pass away. That's the only thing that we're copying. That's what we're gonna take. That's what we're gonna take. Right. The meat of the Mysterio run, minus the bad world title run, and go through with it. Right. Mm-hmm. Ricochet wins the Rumble. Your champs, presumably at the time, will be McIntyre and Roman. So you got 2 pillars of WWE, right? 2 of Vince's best friends, brother. Like those 2 guys. Those are Vince's guys, right? So you got to pick one. Pick your poison. I would love for it to be Roman. So I'm going to go with Roman. Ricochet starts going to SmackDown. And let's say he starts popping up on both shows, and he's like, "Oh, Drew, like I'm gonna win your belt," and he turns into Yoda all of a sudden, and then he's gonna go to SmackDown and be like, Roman, and he's gonna be doing all his shit, right? And then at the pay-per-view before the WrestleMania, whatever the hell it is, Elimination Chamber, No Way Out, Valentine's Day Massacre, I don't care what it is.
Valentine's Day Massacre, hell yeah.
So let's rock with that. Valentine's Day Massacre. That's the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania. And say it's Roman Reigns against Jeff Hardy for the Universal Championship. All right, great, cool. Roman beats Jeff Hardy. And then, oh, shucks. So let's say it's Shinsuke Nakamura. So Roman and Shinsuke Nakamura, they wrestle. Roman wins, LOL. And then that's where Ricochet, his music hits, because music is dope. Ditch the lights, though. Ditch the lasers. No one cares. And ditch that, too. And he comes out. He's like, I want you, brother. And then, bang, WrestleMania. That's your main event. Ricochet and Roman Reigns. You have to build Ricochet up like a monster, though. He can't be having duds. He can't be doing the whole Mustafa Ali gimmick every week. He can't. Have him beat guys like who can take L's. AJ Styles can take a loss. Jeff Hardy could take a loss and be fine. MVP could take a loss and be fine. Like, have him win these matches, god damn it. Like, he's good. Ricochet's genuinely good wrestler. If you really want to get crazy, actually, I'll say that for WrestleMania. So, have him be on Raw until Valentine's Day Massacre. Choose Roman Reigns. Now he's on SmackDown. SmackDown, you go through your SmackDown talent. The Jeff Hardys, or not Jeff Hardy, damn it. You go through your Cesaros. He puts on 5-star matches with Cesaro, the freaking main event SmackDowns. Like, those type of matches, right? Kevin Owens, Aleister Black, guys like that. And then Roman beats the living shit out of Ricochet every single week. Because he has his friends, he has his cousins, the Usos. They have the Usos. Because Jimmy's back. In my story, too. Jimmy's back.
Oh, good.
So he'll come back around the Rumble. Like that, I think it's the safe assumption. If not, he'll come back sooner. WrestleMania comes. You get Ricochet in a mask. This man turns into Prince Puma, right? Woo! But without saying Prince Puma, this man turns into Prince Puma, right? He Roman knocked the goddamn Ricochet out of his brain, and now he's Prince Puma. Makes his entrance, his epic ass entrance at what is presumably going to be WrestleMania at Tropicana Field, because they're moving the Thunderdome there, brother. That's gonna be great, right? And then Roman comes out with the Usos. They do the whole bloodline gimmick, dun-dun. And Roman, okay. Let's use the template of Brock Lesnar versus Ricochet in Saudi Arabia, the match everyone forgot. So,
I know I did.
Brock just threw around Ricochet, right? But we got to build Ricochet as if he's his ultimate underdog. Nick, you know what that's like. So we have to, Ricochet's going to get his ass whipped a lot because Roman's the bigger guy, and they're booking Roman like a goddamn truck. So you do the match. This match could be really good. Roman's a really good wrestler. People forget about that. He's a really good wrestler. Before he turned heel, he was a great wrestler. And so is Ricochet when you give him the chance. You do a kick-ass match does not have to end the show because we're probably going to end the show with Orton Edge for the for freaking bragging rights. The greatest wrestling match ever, too. Whatever the hell it is. And Ricochet, he's not looking too hot. He's not looking great. Prince Puma, Roman's like, come on. Oh, you think you're some type of prince? I'm the king. I'm the chief, the tribal chief. And like the referee's distracted for whatever reason. Maybe like Cedric Alexander's like, come on, man. Like, nah, it's my homie. Or like some other mid-carders or like the New Day, like, come on, guys. And no, like Ricochet's cool. He's cool. He's cool people. Like, stop it. And then Jimmy and Jay turn on Roman Reigns.
Ooh.
They super kick the shit out of him multiple times. Ricochet hits my man with the 630. Fucking bang. And then he gets up and he does it again. And then my man does a shooting star onto Roman. Freaking, hopefully there are fans there doing the whole like camera flash gimmick like how it used to be.
Oh, yeah.
He pins Roman Reigns, is the Universal Champion. and he has a Kofi Kingston-esque run until Brock Lesnar comes back and beats him inevitably. But Ricochet, that's how you do it. Ricochet has so much potential on this earth as a professional wrestler, and WWE is just giving it to Retribution every single week, which I think is a crime. Thank you.
That was tasty. That was way better than mine, obviously.
I like Tucker though.
Tucker Godwin is going to be a thing. No.
Tucker Godwin.
Honestly, Ricochet. Okay, can I don't want to counter.
You cannot change Valentine's Day Massacre. That's a thing. That's
a
thing.
Okay,
February,
okay,
baby.
fine,
February
fine,
2021.
Fine. Here's how WWE is going to book Ricochet, though, because I'm an idiot.
That's all my eyebrow.
So what's going to happen is that there's going to be a lot of random sightings of pots of gold behind or in the backstage of Raw. Okay. It's going to keep showing up out of nowhere. They're going to find Finley. He's going to be like, I don't know about this. They're going to find Hornswoggle. Hornswoggle's going to make an opinion, or he's going to make an appearance, and he's going to be like, I don't know what this is. And then Rick O'Shea is going to come out, and Rick O'Shea, Rick O'Shea, just like Kerwin White, they're going to book him to be a leprechaun now, and that is how he's going to spend the rest of his time in the WWE. He's going to be Rick O'Shea. I'm going to change my name just so we can make sure that we know what this is, because WWE has a tendency to take good gimmicks and make them silly.
No, Jesus.
So, he's going to be everybody's favorite Irish wrestler, Rick O'Shea. Listen, all jokes aside, honestly, you booked him well. Like, that is how he shouldn't be in this. Rick O'Shea should not be in this point that he's in right now. Honestly.
Yeah, Rick O'Shea, man. Rick O'Shea deserves so much better.
He does. Oh, truly.
Granted, a lot of people do.
Right. I mean, Ricochet deserves nothing but the best, yet the WWE really just likes to blow it with all of their good talent. And I just, for the life of me, do not understand. I make this point constantly because what you did before when you were naming off all those Raw superstars was a serious point. There are so many wrestlers at the beginning or at the top of this roster.
Mm-hmm. Just on Raw, dude.
They can't all be champions.
Yeah.
All WWE has to do is book their wrestlers meaningful, so we aren't sitting here going, I wonder if Ricochet was the WWE champion. How would they do that? We'd believe it if it happened.
Yeah.
Like, if,
we
WWE...
saw Kofi Kingston do it. We just saw Kofi Kingston do it.
Well, exactly. And it's like WWE... could have booked Jinder to, they could have booked him the way that they did, and then out of nowhere started to build him up slightly. And if they built him up slightly, we wouldn't have all had this WTF reaction.
WTF doesn't even begin to cover the shock.
No, it definitely does not. But I'm just making a point that, I believe that Ricochet definitely could have been a world champion.
Still could be.
I just cannot tell you. I don't know. I don't believe it at this point. I want to.
There's too much going on. There's too much going on.
Exactly. And it's just like WWE, and they're proving it right now, is that they're not in a place for a Jinder Mahal to randomly appear and win the WWE Championship. They're not going anywhere that's important. Unfortunately, that's probably when freaking I almost said the F word, but I didn't. When Nakamura will win the championship is when they go to Japan. Isn't that sad?
If and when.
So I just they took the briefcase off of Otis for a reason. Think about it. they're not in a place where they're seeing their most profitable numbers in a long time. They are in no place to be like, hey, Uso is a different story where they were booking him really well. And if he won the championship, I wouldn't have been going, holy shit. Well, I probably would have said, holy shit, but I probably wouldn't have been like, where did that come from? No. I would have been like, holy shit, they're really doing this. Not, holy shit, they're really doing this. Mm-hmm. Like they intonation makes it very important. But I just, like, I don't know. I don't think we're going to get a Jinder Mahal for a long time.
Yeah, a lot of guys.
No, I would love one. I would love one.
Yeah. But if you're going to do it, it starts at the Rumble. If you're going to do it, you can't do it naturally at this point. You got to start hot and build their way up. Shock us. Shock me, WWE. Shock Nick, WWE. Have someone unconventional. I do not want anyone to guess who the hell is going to win the Rumble this year. I don't. I want to be shocked when I watch that when I watch that mother freaking pay-per-view.
Yeah, that would be nice.
But we'll see.
I don't know, man. I really No, go away. No, not you. But I just really want. Stop it!
Yo, you need to cool it. Dwayne need to cool it, bro.
I just really want somebody else who is not in.
Oh man, I'm scared. It's gonna be the actual thing, bro.
Dwayne, please stop.
Yeah, Dwayne, cool it. Dwayne gotta cool it.
But like, in all seriousness, it would be so nice if the dirt sheets didn't ruin wrestling for us. It will, truthfully. It's not gonna stop. It can't stop. It won't stop. We're gonna know who the Royal Rumble winner is probably within the next few months. Did you predict Drew was gonna win?
On Raw?
No.
Just in general.
In general. And do you think that Drew being champion again brings up the idea that Jinder could be back in the title picture? Just curious. I'm serious when I say that. That wasn't supposed to be a high spot. It was just, we're talking about Jinder.
I don't think I said Drew's going to win the Rumble. I think I said like a Morrison or a Nakamura, something like that. Have the do win again. That'd be crazy. Or like a Cesaro. I think I said guys like that, guys in that vein, not a McIntyre, because McIntyre might have been champ at the time. And in regards to Mahal, are we ready for that? I know they've been teasing the hell out of doing Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, which I'd much rather see that.
Oh, for sure.
They're buddies. They're like
love that
IRL buddies. Like they're and they both got boots that'll freaking put down a small animal. So
I've been watching a lot of like old SmackDown when Sheamus was World Heavyweight Champion after he beat Daniel Bryan in 7 seconds. Jesus. But like
about that, we're not here now talking about D. Bryant and his prominence, bro.
Very true. I
need it to happen.
Somebody mentioned something like that to me. Like they're like, "Oh, you better appreciate this guy." I'm like, "Oh, I hate that guy." And they're like, "Well, we wouldn't know each other if that was the case." Like, you're right, we wouldn't. Never mind. Yeah. If Daniel Bryan never lost the title in 7 seconds, would he ever be WWE champion the way that he is? No,
who knows?
Probably not. But my point is, I wonder because they're buddies. There's a story about Jinder. About like Drew needing a place to stay and Jinder and his brother. So he stayed at Jinder and his brother's house and they like literally insisted on no level that he slept in the bed. Nice people. I'm just saying, I think that, they work well together. They know each other. Maybe you bring Keith Slater back for the Impact WWE crossover.
That'd be a fun ass show.
It would. That said, we did something fun last week. We want to continue to do it again for everybody.
Damn right.
So let's move on to number 3.
Our last count for today is the continuation of our WWE Greatest Undertaker Match Ever bracket. Yay, because you loved it so much. last week, so we're going to go ahead and do the second round of this bracket. And for those, before we continue, for those who missed last week, I found a WWE bracket of the greatest Undertaker matches ever. I showed it to Nick. Nick was like, yeah, let's do it. And I said, okay, cool. And we did the first round last week, 32 matches. We went through them, either some that we watched, some that we did off of memory. And now here we are a week later doing the Sweet 16. So, Nick, we did differ on a few of them. Excuse me. So we're going to go ahead and try and decipher our Sweet 16. So we started top left earlier, but let's go ahead and start top right this week, just to start for fun. So we'll start with the 2000s, and I believe we already differ right off the bat. So for me, I have Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25 versus Undertaker versus Kurt Angle, No Way Out 2006. And you have Michaels Taker going up against Orton Taker WrestleMania 21. Damn.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 21. That's the freaking card. So, Nick, why is your choice Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 25?
Because it's probably my choice to win the entire thing. No, I'm just kidding. And I'll be honest, man, it's a hard toss-up because I will go out on a limb and say how much I love this feud. Now,
the Taker Orton one?
Yeah, it means a lot to me. My second and third wrestling figures I ever got were my cousin who was collecting them before I was. My first wrestling figure was Carlito. I will just acknowledge that my first wrestling figure was Carlito with a piece of apple stuck in his throat like this. So I know it's weird. But my second were a double of Undertaker and Orton that he had, because he already had Orton and Undertaker, but he got a steel cage for Christmas or something like that. And it was Red Trunks Orton, awesome, badass looking Undertaker. And it was from that feud. So that feud has sentimental value to me. I'm not going to lie. That said, Undertaker Michaels, was this one he did? Was it WrestleMania 25 where he did Michaels did the crazy entrance where he was like the opposite Undertaker?
The white? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That might be my favorite wrestling entrance ever. It was so cool.
Damn close. It
was so cool.
It's so good.
My favorite's actually Roman Reigns' face as AJ Styles makes his entrance for the first time. But oh, sorry. Yeah, I hear that. I'm not on the button. That match symbolizes why I love wrestling. Why I love me some good old-fashioned wrestling. Is to see those two face off against each other and put on a freaking clinic of what it means to be a wrestling fan of that era. Because, that was what we grew up with. So tell me, Chris, why is Shawn Michaels Undertaker winning for you?
It's one of the best wrestling matches of the last 20 years. Well, in all seriousness, I mentioned last week on the show, this is the match that got it all kicked off for me. I didn't know, I didn't watch wrestling at all. My first taste of wrestling was watching WrestleMania 25 on DVD. That my cousin let me borrow, and I watched the hell out of it. And this match is just stuck right in the middle of the card.
Yep.
And it's freaking incredible. I felt bad for everyone who had to follow it because, if I'm not mistaken, this was the second to last match that went on, and Orton and Triple H followed. They were the main event for the WWE Championship and rip that match. All the proof I need for this match to advance, because I don't need to explain myself. The Undertaker was this may reveal when we tape this. He was on Hot Ones this week, and he great interview, by the way. And he was asked by Sean Evans, like, what are two guys that will put on a clinic that you think people should see if they're trying to watch wrestling match, like, a good wrestling match for the first time. He mentioned guys like Harley Race and Ric Flair every time they tied up. Or I believe he mentioned Edge and Randy Orton most recently. He thought that match was really good. The greatest wrestling match ever, he thought was really good. Which, I mean, speaks volumes because it's the freaking Undertaker.
Yeah.
But one he did mention as well was WrestleMania 25, Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. He said it's maybe self-indulgent, but he had to say it. And for every single reason that he thinks it's one of the best wrestling matches between two of the best wrestlers of all time, two guys who are arguably on Mount Rushmore, depending on who you ask, of WWE, WWF, the 90s, the 2000s, 2010s, the 80s, whoever the hell. These guys are on Mount Rushmore. And it's great. This match is incredible. And we'll talk about their sequel in a little bit. But HBK Taker, dude, WrestleMania 25. Probably my favorite match of all time. I love watching that match. They put it for free on YouTube recently. If you haven't seen it, what?
No way.
Watch it. It's incredible. Yeah, I think
they gave away that for free TV.
Yep. I mean, the match did happen, 10 years ago?
Well, I know.
A little over 10 years ago. Either way, it's a great match. And holy hell, what a mother trucking match. I love that match so much. So that advances. I wrote it down while you were talking because I was so eager to put it down as my match that advances. Kurt Angle and The Undertaker did put on great matches, though. And same thing for Orton and Taker. The WrestleMania 21 match was pretty freaking great, too. So up next, we advance to the second half of the 2000s bracket, where I believe we both have WrestleMania 24, Undertaker versus Edge, against WrestleMania 23, Undertaker versus Batista. So, Nick, I'll go ahead and start this one because I'll keep my thoughts brief. WrestleMania 23, Batista and The Undertaker should have main evented that card. It should have. Yeah, Taker and Michaels and Cena were the other match that truly main evented, and that match was great too. But truly, it should have been Undertaker and Batista. It truly should have been them. And it really it bums me out that they didn't. Shout out to our boy Brian Zane. I feel like we can't go a week without talking about Wrestling with Regret. Another great channel.
It is truly.
But he brought that to my attention. He's like, this match should have main evented, and I'm like, yeah, I agree. But that being said, for me, Taker Edge advances.
Yes, me too.
The Undertaker and Edge is, oh my god, because not only this also had the belt on the line. Edge is going in as champion. The Undertaker, who's had both these guys have had an incredible feud. Edge and Undertaker were such stark contrasts of each other, and two completely different characters. I mean, something can be said for Batista and Taker as well. But Batista Taker was two big guys going up against each other, and Edge was it. He's just, oh god, I just think the match was better. I think not Triple H. We'll get to Triple H in a bit. Edge and Undertaker, I think they put on a better match.
It had a lot of build to it. I
mean, it went on for a damn long time, and they kept going, because that feud was just that good. They kept it going onto the next pay-per-view. I'm picking Edge Taker. That advances for me.
Sorry, just dying over here. Yes, that's all I got to say. No, when I talked about it last week, Edge Undertaker was one of the first real matches that I had ever seen. We were a year apart with our Wrestling Blossoms, I believe. Maybe I was a little bit before that. I was a little bit before that, I think, because I remember Carlito and Ric Flair tagging together at some point. That said, Edge Undertaker was truly a match that I cared about, because I loved Undertaker and I freaking hated Edge. Now I respect why I did at the time,
myself included.
I think I hated Vicky Guerrero the most, which good on her for being the literal worst character in wrestling history. Sorry, just saying.
But she was that good at her job.
Well, that was her job, was to be the worst character in wrestling history. So I'm not going to deny it at all.
We do love Vicky Guerrero over here at Wrestle Real. We love Vicky.
Allie's met her before, and she was truly nice to her. So at a convention,
that's all we can ask for.
She like talked to her brother on the phone. So like, you know, Edge, if there was going to be a guy who I thought they were going to put so much goddamn heat on, was Edge to end the streak. I don't think that was ever going to happen. I think that there was a lot more going on. I think the streak almost took a back seat to that match.
It did. No, it did. Yeah.
Because of all the feuding that they were doing before and after. But that said, it was a classic. I still remember the picture of Edge standing above the Undertaker and him grabbing him by the throat. And you could see Edge's hair just flopping around. Love that image. So yeah, I will easily put Edge and Undertaker past Batista and Undertaker.
That's going to be one hell of an Elite Eight. I may have to rewatch Edge Taker for that. I may have to rewatch it just so I'm not super biased.
Honestly, yeah. It could skew the sentimental value of that match could skew my freaking bracket. I'm not gonna lie.
And we have no criteria. We're going off of our own volition. Right. We're choosing who advances. And we don't have to agree. We can happily disagree.
We can.
These are all great matches, and we're going to continue that going on to the wild card portion at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. And if I'm not mistaken, the both of us have Kurt Angle, Undertaker, Vengeance, 2002, against Jeff Hardy and The Undertaker from their episode of Raw from 2002. Great year for The Undertaker. Right.
Yeah.
Great year for the Taker. Nick, do you have a preference of these two?
Hardy, Undertaker. Because Hardy's like, growing up, Hardy was my favorite wrestler of all time.
Ooh,
he still might be.
I love Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy's in my top 5 ever.
Have you done that on the show before? Have we done our top wrestlers yet? I don't think so.
Next week?
We'll chat. We'll talk about it later.
All right. Sorry, planning ahead, people. You just interrupted our production meeting.
Yeah, it was our production meeting.
Jeff Hardy's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and in my opinion, if this match didn't happen, we might not have as prominent of a Jeff Hardy as we do right now, because this was like his John Cena Kurt Angle match, where Jeff Hardy was around longer than John Cena was, but this was like, I'm Jeff Hardy. I was wrestling here when I was 19 and nobody noticed me. Take me seriously, and we'll see where we can go from there. And, great match. Great ladder match, by the way. They throw it into Jeff Hardy's, like, number 1 territory.
Yeah, the gimmick matches, brother.
And, a gimmick match, there's not a lot of gimmick matches on this list, though. Was Undertaker Edge a TLC match? I don't remember. I think it might have been.
I'll double check while you're continuing.
But yeah, Jeff Hardy, who knows if we would have ever gotten Undertaker or if we would have gotten Jeff Hardy. And it just kind of proved, Undertaker's okay with putting guys over, though he did win the match, obviously.
He made Jeff look great. Made Jeff look great.
For sure. And one of my gripes with this bracket a little bit is there's matches Undertaker lost that were great matches. At this point, he did not need to put Jeff Hardy over as the WWE champion that early in his career. So
Edge was not a TLC match.
Was not a TLC match. Okay.
Not the WrestleMania match. Just to be clear.
No. But it did happen, right? They did have a TLC match. It might have been at TLC. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jeff Hardy, definitely. It wasn't a clinic. It wasn't the greatest wrestling match in the world, but it was so important for the career of 2 wrestlers, to be honest. Because, even if he was the American Badass, there was nothing but respect for The Undertaker for having that match with Jeff Hardy. So,
just to keep my thoughts brief, I second everything you said. Jeff Hardy and Undertaker, to me, will advance, not only because, I love rewatching this match. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
2002, Jeff Hardy is a whole different beast. And it's the American Badass. And as you mentioned, right, Jeff Hardy was, to me, this match is more about Hardy than Taker.
Yes. It is.
Taker does put Jeff over in a victory, which is crazy. It rarely happens nowadays where a guy will go over in a loss.
Because it's a respect thing. It's a respect thing.
So Jeff, who is known for his tag team stuff for good reason, him, the Hardy Boys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian put on some goddamn clinics in those gimmick matches, bro. Clinics. Absolutely. Some of the best and most entertaining wrestling matches of all time. Like, you can pop one of those on as background noise, and you'll end up sitting down and be like, damn, this match is great. Like, I caught myself doing that multiple times with those matches. Like, you can't not watch it. Your eyes are glued to the screen because the action is incredible, and that's where Jeff made his name. So Jeff on his lonesome, or by his lonesome, facing off against The Undertaker on Raw in a ladder match for the belt, WWE bro?
Championship, yeah.
Are you nuts? To me, this match it sticks out more. It was important for both of these guys, especially a young Jeff. Kurt, yes. Kurt was Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle came in hot. Obviously, coming off of that gold medal. He's a great wrestler. The matches he had against The Undertaker were great as well.
Absolutely.
But holy God. This may be the match that, at least, I don't want to say defined, but that kickstarted Jeff Hardy's career properly.
Yeah. No denying it, man. No denying it.
So I can't help. Plus, I love this match. I love rewatching it. The rewatchability of this match. Anything can be said about Angle. Angle just put on technical clinics. But yes. I just love this Jeff Hardy match a ton. So I'm going to put that as my victor as well as we advance to the bottom half of this match as well, or this bracket, where we have for me, The Undertaker versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania 36 against the six-pack Hell in a Cell match from Armageddon 2000, which I think rules. It rules. But you have, I believe, the six-pack Hell in a Cell Armageddon match against the 2007 Royal Rumble. So the fact that, I mean, you said there aren't too many gimmick matches. We have two right here.
Right. That's very
technically
true.
Three.
I picked both of them.
Technically three because of the cinematic match between The Undertaker and AJ Styles, and that's my victor. But not because of it's a better wrestling match, not because it's a barn burner, brother. I don't think so. Even though I think barns were legitimately lit on fire for this match.
Might have been, yeah.
This was The Undertaker's last ride, pun intended. This is the last time we're going to see The Undertaker in a ring. Hopefully, God, have my man stop wrestling.
Give us what we want.
And next week, or this Sunday, will be the end of The Undertaker. He'll be, or at least presumably, he will bid farewell to WWE, which will be pretty crazy to see. And I wonder how they're going to do it. But he may not even retire. That's the crazy part. But if this is the last ride of The Undertaker, and he went out in a match against AJ Styles, one of the best wrestlers, if not the best wrestler on the face of the planet of the last decade, maybe even the last 20 years. I'm going to advance Taker Styles solely because of the fact that it was AJ. He got his match with AJ, and AJ got his Taker match in a way. It was the last Taker wrestling appearance where he's actually getting physical in a proper match. And like, it was at the most unorthodox WrestleMania of all time, and it stole the show. That Boneyard match stole the show.
No denying
and
that.
It single-handedly sent Gallows and Anderson to Impact. That's the icing on the cake. And we know that six-pack match is nuts. And if you have not seen that Armageddon Hell in a Cell six-pack match, it is absolutely insane. Everyone should watch it. It's the bomb. Talk about just barn burners between a bunch of dudes just hitting each other. I bit my tongue. That's how excited I am. But I'm still picking Styles Taker. But holy God.
Yeah.
My God. That six-pack is nuts. It is nuts. I love it so much.
That said, as much as I do like that six-pack Hell in a Cell, I'm picking the Royal Rumble match to move forward. My lowest ranking victory to move on to the Elite Eight. And spoiler alert, everybody, it might move on to the Final Four for me as well. I love the Royal Rumble. I love the Royal Rumble so much. And to see a guy, and I'll say what I said. I'll say what I said last time. The guy is synonymous with WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. Yet he's only won the Royal Rumble once. Once? Like me, now I'm becoming Adam Sandler. And he's only won the Royal Rumble once. He's only won the. What is wrong with us? A lot. He's only won the Royal Rumble once, and he has the streak and everything. I just go. That Royal Rumble victory meant so much to me as a wrestling fan because it meant a few things. That the streak was going to have to continue off of a title win, not a retain.
Win.
It set up that match versus Batista, which sentimental value to the point that I'm glad it happened, but Undertaker Edge was just slightly better for me. I honestly think that give him his comeuppance. The guy has been in how many friggin' Royal Rumble matches, and he's only won it once. So I will give him the Royal Rumble victory for that reason.
And he was the first guy to win at 30. It's
right?
hard to argue that. No, like it really is, and that was the thought that crossed my brain last week when we did the matchup between Styles and the Rumble, right? Like it was. It's a toughie, but Taker Styles, like to me. Plus, I think that Boneyard match is the best thing that happened at WrestleMania this year.
Yeah,
and
I like the Firefly Funhouse match. So that might have been where I was falling into that trap as well. Was going, which one do I like more there? Which one sticks in my head?
Yeah,
and I love me some Bray Wyatt.
It was great too. So even though I just think that was like a career analysis for John Cena, it was still awfully entertaining and a lot of fun to watch. But I'm glad we're both sticking with our different pick going forward. I think it's the only pick we differ on for now. Because we're moving on to the left side of the bracket. We're going back to the top. We're going back to the 1990s. We're going to do Mankind versus The Undertaker at King of the Ring, 1998, against, I believe we both had Undertaker Bret Hart at SummerSlam 97.
We did.
So Nick, I think we're going to agree on this one. So Mankind.
Okay. I'm like thinking like this one's gonna be controversial, isn't it? And then you're like Mankind. I'm like Mankind.
No, Mankind.
I'm like, listen, freaking Mick Foley didn't die and come back to life during that match 3 times for us to not put it past Bret Hart.
Mick Foley's career was shortened by 10 years because of that match. So I feel like by obligation it has to advance.
Respect our boy here. Respect our boy.
I mean, what else do we have to say about this match we didn't say last week? This match is synonymous with both of these men's careers. Yes. Both of these men had some brutal matches, a lot of gimmick matches. Hell in a Cell, Buried Alive. That was in the last round. That actually faced off against Taker Bret Hart,
which is a good match. Good match.
Yeah.
I remember you talking about it. You're like, how can you pick against this match? And then we both did. So,
I mean, that iconic shot, dude, of Taker standing on top of the cell on Mick Foley's corpse, like just on top of the broken announce table. It's like, oh my God.
Harry Funk carrying him out. There's so much about that match that I love. I love Terry Funk too. So like, I'm gonna keep picking. Like, you give me a match with Terry Funk in it, I don't care if it's against James Ellsworth. I'll pick him. But it's so many different weapons. It was really like, I know the thumbtacks have been used in the WWE before, but like that is the moment I remember was Mankind getting thrown onto those thumbtacks.
It's brutal. That match is brutal to watch. But it's a great time capsule of what the WWF was at the time.
For sure.
There's 2 outlandish characters. It's a dead guy and a crazy guy, bleeding like nobody's business, throwing each other against these tacks and off cells, through cells. It's nuts. It's absolutely crazy.
It's insane.
And it's one of the most iconic matches of all time. May not be the best, but damn sure it's iconic. So that will be advancing for the both of us. King of the Ring, 1998, Taker, and Mankind. Holy God. So moving on to the bottom half of this of the 1990s, we're going to see Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at In Your House, Bad Blood 1997 against WrestleMania 14, Undertaker versus Kane. So, Nick, both of these matches involve Kane in some way, shape, or form. And it's you're picking your poison. And honestly, you can't think of The Undertaker without thinking about Kane, and vice versa. Both you can't tell their oral histories without acknowledging each other. Kane more so than The Undertaker, for obvious reasons. And it all started at Bad Blood 97 at In Your House. Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. I've been the champion of a great Shawn Michaels match, especially against The Undertaker, and you'll see a little bit more of that in a second. But I will have this match advancing.
Me too.
It's Shawn Michaels and Undertaker working their asses off. They're working their asses off, and then Kane shows up. It's like, what the fuck?
It's gotta be Kane. It's gotta be Kane.
It's again the same reasons why I backed Mankind. It's iconic. It may not be the best match ever, but holy God, it's pretty damn iconic for a multitude of different reasons.
For sure.
In Your House, Bad Blood.
It's gonna be tough to pick that next round because as much as like a Kane Undertaker match at WrestleMania meant so much, I think of more. I think I have a sour taste in my mouth from when Kane and Undertaker were feuding later on in their career, and Kane was the uber heel, and Undertaker could barely walk, which is crazy because he's put on better matches since then. I'm looking at you, Goldberg, Undertaker. Just kidding. But like, I liked Kane and Undertaker's stuff when they were together more than anything else. So I'll pick Kane's debut over it.
I mean, it's either way, but someone can easily come on here and say, Chris, Nick, y'all wrong. It should be WrestleMania 14, Kane and Undertaker, and I totally get it.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny it.
It's their first meeting against each other. So they waited that long, but they did the damn thing.
But we need to put another Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker match into our Elite 8.
Just when you thought it wasn't enough. Just when you thought it wasn't enough. We're going to move on to the 2010s, baby, because to kick off the damn decade, we got the sequel to Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker at WrestleMania this time. WrestleMania 26, baby. And we had that advancing over Taker Bray Wyatt. I mean, sorry, Bray. But I believe we chose Undertaker Brock Lesnar. So
we did.
Nick.
Out of default.
Nick, I said it once, I'll say it again. Those WrestleMania matches are some of the best matches of all time. To a lot of people, the sequel's better than the original. I do think it's a better match, but the first one had so much more, a lot of weight to it. Even though the second one had Michaels' retirement on it, the first one just means a lot.
Yeah.
And it like you mentioned earlier in the show, it defined an era. We do have a match a little bit later that is the end of an era, but this match or these two matches defined an era. And it's hard for me to pick against it because I remember watching this match, bro. It was in Phoenix, WrestleMania 26. This one properly main evented the show because Michaels' retirement was on the line. And that was our boy's last match ever. He has not wrestled again. So it's hard for me to pick against Taker, Michaels, and I'm going to do that again. That Lesnar match at SummerSlam was fun as hell, though. We got it was fun, but I'm sorry. Taker Michaels.
Right. What am I thinking? By default, I'm going, I for some reason thought this was like 2003. I don't know where we are in this bracket. But yeah, I agree. Cannot deny it. That match was amazing. I loved it. I want to see it every. I'll watch it over and over and over and over and over again.
If you told me I had 2 wrestling matches to watch for the rest of my life, and you gave me both Taker Michaels matches from WrestleMania 25 and 26, I think I'd be pretty happy boy. I'd be bummed that I can't watch any more wrestling, but 2 great matches to watch.
2 great matches to watch, my friend. Cannot deny that.
Holy hell. But our last matchup to complete our Elite Eight, to complete our Elite Eight, because, by the way, we do have all 4 number 1 seeds advancing to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
So WWE, they know what they were doing for this bracket.
I got to think about what's beyond that, though, for some of them.
So we are going on to our last matchup, the 3 seed in this portion, Undertaker versus Triple H, the end of an era, at WrestleMania 28 against, I believe, did we both have Taker Shane?
We did.
Okay, so
we both had Taker Shane.
McMahon, the 7 seed from WrestleMania 32, 4 years later. Nick, do you have a preference of the 2?
Yes, and it is the end of the era match, because I think that we both were just kind of like Undertaker, Rey Mysterio versus Shane McMahon and Undertaker. I guess Shane McMahon and Undertaker.
Yeah, there's some easy choices in that first round.
Well, especially for that side of the bracket, because I understand why they did it, but you're also getting into the end of Undertaker's career where you need to throw Drew McIntyre and Shane McMahon versus Undertaker and Roman Reigns into it in order to, suffice for what you have in your bracket.
It's a 5 seed.
Right. Really, though, yeah, it's a 5 seed. That should be
in this part of the bracket was a 5 seed.
That should be your 8 right there, in my opinion. Bray Wyatt Undertaker should have been higher than that. No disrespect. I still think that Bray Wyatt Undertaker should not even be on there because Bray Wyatt should have beat him. But I said that last week, though.
I don't disagree.
But Undertaker, I would rather have The Fiend beat The Undertaker, though, at WrestleMania on the streak than cult leader Bray Wyatt. That's just me.
Yeah.
But I also want Bugs projected onto the... I'm a man of many needs. But... yeah, Undertaker, Triple H, end of an era. Shawn Michaels is your referee. How could you go against it? I'm surprised it wasn't the 2 seed on this side.
I mean, yeah, because it is Triple H. So it's hard. We did excommunicate his X7 match with the Undertaker, and on the right side of the bracket in the 2000s portion. But the Undertaker and Shane McMahon. That match to me exceeded expectation, like all expectation.
It did. Truly,
Shane, I heard throwing his body out there for the gimmick, brother, off the top of the cell because he just had to. My man just had to. The Undertaker barely getting off the table.
All the friggin' time, man. That's his thing. Put his body on the line for no apparent reason whatsoever.
It was it's funny. It's funny to think about in hindsight. Like both these dads just freaking beating the hell out of each other. These part-timers beating the hell out of each other. And of course it's the gimmick match. Of course it's Hell in a Cell. Of course it's at WrestleMania. And of course Taker's going to win.
Yes.
But to me, I thought Triple H was going to beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania 28.
They came pretty damn close to it.
They had me convinced. That end of an era, again, Hell in a Cell. But Shawn Michaels is the referee. Saying our boy's name one more time. And I mentioned it last week. Oh my God. That Sweet Chin Music into a mother truck and pedigree. And that near fall is probably the closest near fall I've ever seen.
Yeah.
On any wrestling program. It was insane. I thought the streak ended there. I thought that's how they're going to end it. And fans have lost their mind in the best way possible. Because you mentioned there are a few guys that should have been the Undertaker streak before Brock Lesnar did. Maybe that's a conversation we can have at a different time. I do agree in that sense, but I have a few other names that I think should have, if not could have, beating the Undertaker to end the streak.
Is CM Punk one of them? I just need to know.
Yes,
okay,
but and we'll talk about that when the day comes. Whenever we do that. So, again, our production meeting. Come on, guys, stop interrupting our production meeting.
Boo! Get out of here, fam.
So I'm also picking the End of an Era match. It rules.
Yes.
And this match is so much fun to watch. It's great. But the Elite Eight, what a great way to round it out.
Dude,
really.
I'm excited for next week. Because I feel like we're going to
finish it out next week.
I think we should. I think we're going to have differing opinions going into the end, though. I'm not going to lie.
And we'll chat about the Undertaker stuff. Maybe we'll just dedicate a whole count to the Undertaker. How about that? Maybe the whole show. Who knows? We'll see how that goes. But that's our Sweet 16 broken down into the Elite Eight for this Undertaker bracket. Check the WWE social medias if you want the bracket, so you can fill out yourself and let us know who you have winning the whole thing. Because Nick and I may have differing opinions come next week. So we'll see.
I have a lot of Undertaker to watch, but Chris, I think you had a high spot, so let's get into.
You're damn right.
Those damn high spots.
This past Monday on Raw, Drew McIntyre beat Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. What the hell? Legitimately. What the hell? Why give Orton the belt? Why have him lose? Why have McIntyre lose at Hell in the Cell just to give him the belt back 2 weeks later? What's the point of that?
Two-time WWE champion.
Yeah, I get it.
They're making up for lost time.
you can say he's a 2-time champ now. Okay, great. And now you're gonna have two big sweaty men, Roman and McIntyre at Survivor Series. Great. Okay, great. It just brings me back to a point I had a couple weeks ago. Why not just give Orton the belt at SummerSlam, give him a longer reign, and then have him drop the belt again? That's fine, especially when Orton was white hot when he faced McIntyre the first time at SummerSlam. Yeah. Orton was on fire. Him and Asuka were carrying the Raw weekly shows every single week because of the things that they were doing. And when Orton went into freaking SummerSlam against the Drew McIntyre, who he had no business fighting or wrestling at that show. Because why? You just wanted to put your hot talent against your champion. Again, I understand. I get it. And I'm just the fan. I'm out here. I'm stupid. I'm the American armpit, Chris Anthony Lopez. I'm just watching these weekly shows. I'm a fan. I'm going to watch this shit regardless. But how much sense does it make when you have the white hot wrestler lose at SummerSlam, arguably the third or fourth biggest pay-per-view of the whole damn year, and have him lose just to win the belt a month and a half later, 2.5 months later, at Hell in a Cell, because who gives a shit, in a mediocre, underwhelming match that no one cared, no one wanted, that should not have made event to the pay-per-view, but it did. Sasha Bailey, y'all got robbed. Roman J, y'all got robbed. Y'all should have made event to the goddamn show, but they gave it to McIntyre and Orton. And then you have Orton win. Oh, great. 15-time champ. Did you just give my man the belt just so he can say he's a 15-time champion? What? Yeah. Who cares? Who the hell cares? Imagine they gave Orton the belt back before the end of the year or by next WrestleMania. 16-time champion. He's tied with Flair and Cena. Isn't that some crazy stuff to think about? That Randy Orton
it's
almost
insane.
Tied to Ric Flair and John Cena. But no! You give Drew McIntyre the belt again on a bum-ass episode of Raw that is right before Survivor Series because you want McIntyre Roman. And let me piggyback on this. Last week, because our show premieres right before SmackDown does. And if I would freaking known that Drew McIntyre, the Raw superstar, was going to be on SmackDown, completely negating the draft again, because we don't care. We don't care about the GD draft anymore. So he shows up, beats Jey Uso, and he's like, I have a little stare down with you, Roman Reigns. We should have known then. We should have known at that point.
Oh, I did.
The belt back on Raw.
Oh, for sure. The moment that I saw him up here, I'm going, that's sus right there. That's some sus shit right there. He's gonna.
It was sus that he even showed up. It was like, why'd you do that? Because he was gonna win the belt on Monday to set up the little baby feud. You have a week to do it before Survivor Series on Sunday. So I mean, WWE WTF, bro? Why couldn't you just pull the trigger on Orton in August, have him hold the belt for 2.5 months instead of 2 weeks, and then you give the belt back to McIntyre for this match against Roman Reigns? Now, I get it. You didn't want 2 heels going up against each other at Survivor Series. You should have thought of that sooner. Y'all should have thought of that sooner. You knew Roman was coming back at SummerSlam. It overshadowed everything on the show. For good reason, because it was damn good. But come on. Oh, my God. Y'all are booking this thing months in advance. Be here every single week. Oh, Vince rewrote SmackDown 5 minutes before the show started. That's y'all's fault, and y'all are making mistakes in the process. I don't understand this. Granted, I don't know what I expect out of WWE at this point, because they're just like, meh, we can change champs. They've done this the last few years, where they changed the champ right before Survivor Series so they can have the better match or the more high-key match or high-profile match. Great.
I don't know about that. Jinder Mahal versus Brock Lesnar is going to be great. Go on.
But as I was saying before Nick brought up that great point, they've done this the last few years. Y'all book these shows months in advance. Y'all know better. What the hell? This should not be like how we do Wrestle Reel and we're doing it week by week. That's like, y'all are a $1 billion company. Book this in advance. Y'all already know what's main eventing WrestleMania. Y'all just don't tell us.
Yeah.
So what the frick, man? Drew, Roman, y'all gonna have a kick-ass match in Survivor Series. I'm gonna shove my sock in my mouth the second their match ends because I know it's gonna be good. I know it's gonna be good. But how we got there? Stupid, dumb, waste of time. Why did I care about an Orton world title reign? Oh, I didn't because I didn't have enough time to give a shit about it.
I agree. You hit every single damn point that I was gonna make. Except 2-time WWE champion sounds really good to me with Drew.
Oh no, Drew's gonna be great. I hope Drew has the belt for a long time. Drew McIntyre, to me, he's like superstar of 2020.
Yeah.
He's done a great job as champ with no fans there. No fans. He deserves a better reign, and I hope that now with WWE moving to Tropicana, we start letting fans in. All you Florida fans, Florida may suck. I see y'all Florida in the news every day. Y'all may suck, but y'all get some kick-ass wrestling every week. So not only with the AEW things every week and the Tropicana Field stuff in Tampa, maybe that will be really cool as well. We'll see if they let fans in. Now fans could be at the Rumble, presumably. That's going to be really cool. And the day they announce that, we'll talk more Rumble come January. Sure. But come on. Y'all are better than that. What we got, I'm not going to bitch about. No. How we got there, I'll happily bitch about. Hence why high spot for the week for our show on November 20th.
I'm in complete agreement with you. Like, I cannot deny it. I had to pull Bill out there because I got nothing else to say. I mean, I'm in agreement. My only thing is, like I said, 2-time Drew has a better ring to it to me. I figured he was going to win the world championship again. Yeah. No, there was a part of me that was honestly a bit worried that maybe that was going to be it for him.
He's going to go back to the mid-card or something?
Not back to the mid-card per se, but just not an important championship win again.
Word, yeah.
This proved to me that they're going to keep him in the main event picture. I still think that, he's going to spell out that MIZ word, Jackass, is going to eventually become champion. And I'm taking that from a segment who I think is actually going to eventually become the champion.
Well,
it's Bray Wyatt.
Oh, snap. I'm telling you, that Raw main event picture, there's so many dudes. And I can see the Raw being champ.
I have a new Royal Rumble pick.
Tell me, go ahead. Before you... Oh. Yeah. The only reason I say no is because he may be wrestling McIntyre on the show.
Yeah, I can see that. But
they're treating Wyatt like a face right now, so maybe not.
I just want I'm sorry. I just love Bray Wyatt. I love that kids show segment so much. I will be honest. Something I did not mention at the beginning of the show, and I don't think I've actually mentioned it to you at all, was my mom went up to me and was like, "What do you want for Christmas?" I'm like, I don't know. Usually I will put together like an Amazon list of like,
sure, yeah,
some film equipment, some Joker related things. But this year I went with a clown and I went onto the WWE shop and sent her some photos of some WWE merch that I would like for Christmas.
That's awesome.
For the show purposes, but I also found some cool ass Fiend shit. There's a Fiend hat that I would wear while I was directing some shit. I just would like to mention that I did try and up my production value by I saw the blue SmackDown shirt was available on there. I was like, oh, that's pretty sweet. That's some good stuff. And by the way, we're not doing Survivor Series predictions, right?
No. Watch the show.
Maybe
we'll talk about it next week. Maybe, who knows?
Survivor Series is this Sunday, right? I'm gonna leave. If this is a high spot, we could just end the show on this. I think that Team Raw is easily going to win because they have not been a hyping team.
Win the night, or just okay.
The big match. Because
so the men's.
I think Roman beats Drew again, but the traditional men's match, at least, I don't know about the women's. I think SmackDown probably wins that one. But the men's match, they've been doing nothing but doing the whole, Raw is so dysfunctional thing. And then on SmackDown, I go,
it's like, are y'all a team?
Does ECW have a team in this or something that they're facing Raw with? Like it's like so I think that they're gonna build up. It's gonna help AJ into maybe a world championship reign or run, where I think that what's gonna happen is that they're gonna win. They're gonna possibly win pretty handily, or whoever are the sole survivors on the men's side is going to be who feuds with for the shot at the championship next, because I do think that Orton Fiend might be a route that they go.
They might even do Fiend and Miz.
They might do Fiend and Miz. They might do Fiend Miz. By the way, I thought that Jericho had one of the worst entrances of all time.
They do.
Show Miz has the worst entrance I've ever seen.
Oh God!
I watched their split match on the draft because I wanted to watch a draft. So I watched the Raw draft of 2000 and something where Kelly was the first pick, and I ended up with Jerry Lawler's probably somewhere crying. But Show Miz came out and lost their tag team championships to the Hart Dynasty, which, by the way, I miss the Hart Dynasty.
Shout out to the Hart Dynasty.
But yeah, Show Miz, it's like, awesome. It was one of those entrances where it's the Miz's entrance music, but they just sprinkled a Big Show at a higher key. The same song, but they went from like, get ready for something to get ready for something. I'm like, just stop this shit. This is terrible. Jericho had one of the worst entrances, and then they fixed Jericho's, so it was actual like entrance music.
Yeah.
Like combined them the right way.
That's when I remember.
But they did do it's the big show. Can't wait for him to make his debut. Jesus. And in this one, it was just a terrible mix of the Miz and the only reason why I pointed this out, again, I'm sorry. I was like, we can end the show. And then I was like, never mind, Show Miz. Which, by the way, Miz Show or Show Miz? I get that they were trying to do Show Biz, maybe, but like Miz Show makes more sense.
I like Show.
I don't know. I enjoy Show Miz.
It's the Miz Show.
Ugh, jeez. I just would like to acknowledge that all the way to the end of their reign as tag team champions, they had one of the worst combinations of entrances ever.
I forgot they were a thing, but that was a big part of Miz's career for a hot second. Was the stuff with the Big Show.
They combined. I love Big Show. Big Show's on my Mount Rushmore just because I love Big Show.
Respect.
Just because I love Big Show. For no other reason.
I respect.
He's in my top 5 of all time because I love a Big Show. But
again, I respect, bro. That's hard.
But that said, we'll get into our top 5s at some point. We already had our production meeting during the show.
We'll talk about it later.
But
we were really interrupted.
Yes, by you fans out there who are watching. But if you've made it this far, we appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for continually coming back. We definitely have people who are consistently coming back, even people who are interacting. But if you want to interact with us, our social medias are down here. I don't use Twitter as much as he does, but
I'm all over Twitter, baby.
Every once in a while. I'm more on Instagram, sharing different projects that we're doing and on here and stuff like that. So if you want to see what we do, follow us on there. But if you want to, just please comment on this video. We are more than happy to interact with every single person. Your comment might be on the next Wrestle Reel. That said, episode 10 coming next week, a big episode because we've made it 10. 10's a milestone, I would say.
Hell yeah.
That said, my name is Nick Mulbach. Rick O'Shea.
My name is Chris Anthony Lopez. I am the American Armpit.
Nightmare. The American Nightmare.
The American Armpit.
He ain't an armpit. He's my boy, Chris Anthony Lopez. Like one. We all do some days, trust me. That said, I'm Nick Mulbach. This is Chris Anthony Lopez signing off for another Wrestle Reel. Thank you, everybody.